Yeah, and welcome to PapastachePop. So today we're gonna do some strumming and some basic chords. Now, if you want strumming help, click that link below. That video is not on YouTube, and it goes over upstrokes, downstrokes, how to make your own strumming exercise and exercises, because there's many of them, and then hopefully inspires you to play more, to learn more songs, and then write your own songs, which we need. And there's people, carrying the torch out there now, and I love it. So we're all learning how to play and have fun. Check that out. But what I'm going to show you today is a lesson on actually a really simple technique to take basic chords and just spice it up a little bit. Maybe sound a little more emotional, get a couple tears out of your friends or your girlfriend or boyfriend, and just let it flow. And it's really easy. We're going to basically do the exact same thing over 4 chords and make it sound like we know what we're doing, but we're cheating because it's so easy. So let me show you how to do it. All right, so again, simple little trick. And what's cool is we're going to keep it super basic as far as our chord shapes. We're going to try to basically hit as many chords as we can with the same basic finger shape as possible. And we're going to do that by doing a C chord, a G chord, or like this. The only one we're going to change the shape a little bit is an A minor, but 2 of the fingers are still pretty much where we started. And then we're going to go to the F chord, which is going to keep us right in line. And all we got to do is move these 2 fingers up. So 3 of the chords, literally, you're only moving your fingers up sets of strings or down sets of strings, okay? Now, from there, we're going to carry on with the theme of the same shape for those 3 chords, and we're going to do the same trick on each chord. Right? The only one that's going to be different is the A minor, and we're going to break the pattern a little bit. We're going to use the hammer on with our first finger. And we're going to go to the F chord. We're going to keep the F chord even simpler than a traditional F, and we're not even going to bar the high E string. Okay? So the trick is taking our second finger and hammering on the note wherever that second finger would be in the chord. Okay, so on my first downstroke, I strum with the string open where my second finger would be, and I hammer onto it. So on a C chord, it's the D string would be open, hammering on to the second fret. Then I add whatever strum pattern I want. All right, so one more time. I'll do the same thing on the G. And if you're a little bit better with finger manipulation, maybe we'll add the high G note on the high E string. We'll pick up a little extra melody note. Now, when we go down, I'll do the same strum pattern. So literally, we've done the same thing. We've just moved up 2 of our fingers a set of strings. Same frets, same everything, right? So we're keeping it as simple as possible. But it's a very effective way to kind of spice up your chord progression. Just little tiny things make a big difference, right? So if we played it without, now if we add it, okay, so that's one thing we can do. Once we get that down, especially for a beginner, that can be challenging, right? And the trick to hammer-ons isn't how hard you press. That's one of those things that in the beginning we're trying to figure out hammer-ons. It's how quickly you attack the note. If you go too slow, it'll fret out the note before it has a chance to ring. So you want to apply the proper amount of pressure and the proper amount of speed so the attack actually lets the note sustain. If I go too slow, see, it deadens out the note before it gets a chance to ring. So it's about, you know, applying even pressure over the chord, no more pressure than you would need to actually fret the chord itself, but you just make sure you hammer on quick enough. Okay? So there's that. Now, if you want to take it one step further, we can add the high G note on the high E string, which is the 3rd fret on some of the chords, and we'll change out the melody a little bit. So we got. Okay, now, once we go to the A minor, we can, you know, let go of this note, or we can do the same thing. We're going to hammer on with our 1st finger on the B string, from an open B to the 1st fret of the B. But we can add that pinky in there too. Right? So we got. And then we'll go to the F chord, which is just basically keeping our 1st finger hasn't moved yet. It's stayed in the same spot this whole time. Now we're just going to basically take our ring finger up a fret on the D string, and we're going to bring this finger, which was here on the D string 2nd fret, down 1 string to the 2nd fret of the G string. And on this F, I'm going to keep the high E string open. Okay? Now, with that in mind, I might even take this note back off because I love the sound of that chord, right? So here's a traditional F. Sounds great. Here's it with the open B, or the open E rather. That sounds awesome. Open E and G. Love that sound, okay? Now we can add that high G note in there as well. So we're just doing simple little things, taking off a note, adding a note to our basic chord shape, not doing any bar chords or anything, you know, technically too difficult, but it really has a dramatic effect on just our simple chord progression. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so another thing we can do, and I love this chord. I learned it way back when I was a wee little lad trying to learn Stairway to Heaven. If you do an A minor chord, you take off your ring finger, which is a great sounding chord, but to really take it up a notch, you put your pinky on that G note of the E string. Sick chord right there. Sounds so fancy. Your friends will all be impressed. Johnny, Sally, your chords and your chord voicings have really gone leaps and bounds. How did you do it? And you can tell them, dude, there's this guy, got a funky mustache and wears his, you know, sriracha shirt on YouTube. I love him. I'm going to share him with you because I think you need to see it. That would be awesome. I would totally love... Oh, I already love you, but I'd love you even more. It would be like BFF. YouTube FF. Okay? So, anyways, basic trick. Try it out. And then, you know, obviously, it applies to all sorts of chords, right? We're doing an E chord. Right? You can do a whole song with just one chord. Or, you know, there's lots of those today. But, you know, just mess with that. So, C, G, A minor, F. And what's cool is you can take that and, you know, do all parts of your song with those same chords and just rearrange the chords a little bit, and then you have all the parts of your song. So say we start with our verse. That's our beginning. And then we'll... Or we just reverse the order a little bit. All right, there's our pre-chorus. Back to what we started with. And you've effectively, as long as you are mildly impressive with your lyrical prowess, the guy in your life or the gal in your life, I mean, your basic chord progression, a couple, you know, fancy, simple finger movements, couple of words. You know, if you're young, maybe a bottle of punch, or if you're older, you know, a bottle of wine or a bottle of beer, wherever you live, you know, whatever you fancy. Simple tricks can take things just to the great places. Not that it always has to end up that way, but, or, you know, you're like, hey, you know, your friend's sad because something happened. I wrote this song for you. And just, you know, at the end of the song say, you know, and me and the guy on YouTube, we're hoping you're having a better day. Give it a shot. Yes. See? Simple technique to bring on some tears, hopefully. Maybe a hug, or, you know, who knows where it'll go. You know, there's lots of fun places that, you know, a romantic song lesson technique can take you places that maybe you want to experience as a young person, or an older person, or a middle-aged person with, you know, a wife and stuff, and you're like, honey, sit down right here. Well, over here where there's not an amp, and just let me sing you a song. I know I just started playing, and I wrote you this song, and then you bust out what you learned, your chord, and then just, who knows what'll happen. Could be awesome. Let me know what happened. That'd be great. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for your support. Don't forget that link down below. It's all sorts of strumming, how-tos, and what to do's, and all that good stuff. You're amazing. Catch you next time.